Give the audience an opportunity to ask questions. We're going to start with a couple of questions first. So my first question is for you, Clay. How did you decide which magicians you were going to focus on?
Well, we followed quite a few teenage magicians, both in kind of the LA area and just around. And it boiled down to a few things. Basically, the kids that we selected had this certain type of just kind of something that jumped off camera to me. You know, whether it was like Derek excitingly telling us that he had like a, you know, Willy Wonka magic act for a half an hour, and you know, I was like, wow, that kid's awesome. And you know, just they had a sort of exuberance that just, you know, came off to me, as well as you know, I think that they all also represent something in terms of like a challenge that we all face when we're in our teenage years, whether it's like pressure from the outside world or trying to fit in or whatever it is. I think it being able to kind of bounce around the world and have those universal themes pop up was really what I was looking for.
Great. And I want to ask each of the magicians a question. So looking back now, it's been about 1.5 years, I guess, since that World Magic Seminar. What, now in retrospect, do you think you learned the most from participating in that World Magic Seminar and doing those performances?
Hello, everybody. I'm Derek McKee, and I'm a magician. Hi, what was the question?
So now, you know, with about more than 1 year has passed since you did the performance for this film, what do you think you've learned the most looking back at that time?
I've learned the most probably to
pass the mic when he can't think. Looking back, I'd have to say that going into the competition, doing all the reading that I did, I realized now that I read mostly the right things. And looking back, I can look back and say, you know what, now if I had read these things, I probably would have gone into the competition with a different mindset. And on a side note, with that, having all 10 fingers after making all the tools, Mom, I win.
And now that I'm thinking, one thing I learned is to be yourself, because, let me demonstrate for you. Will you hold this for me, Bill? Closer. I can do that being American.
Hello, my name is Haroki Hara. Thank you so much. So I learned from World Magic Seminar, I learned one thing. It is nothing is impossible. That's it. Before the World Magic Seminar, I practiced like 10 hours every day. But the World Magic Seminar changed my life. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, how did you turn the ball into the umbrella?
Don't tell him. It's secret.
Yeah.
One thing that strikes me as sort of interesting is that there's almost sort of like two competing philosophies in a sense. One is that you can be a great magician to do things that are impressive and hard and that the audience actually knows are really difficult, that you're able to do very easily, as opposed to maybe creating something where the audience simply does not know how it was done. And I'm sort of curious as to how you feel about, because those seem to be different.
It was really important for me. I really wanted to show how hard that these kids work, and early cuts of the film, we didn't have that one little section where, you know, we kind of teach you how to do a split fan. And I just thought that that was important because it really, you know, I'm sitting there trying to do it with my own hands, and it really, you know, it takes years, and I think that just gives another level of appreciation, which they deserved. And so there are tricks in there that we don't show how it's done, or the, you know, there are other magic tricks. I think that we tried to strike a balance a little bit. Bill, did you want to?
Back home, I'm the president of my magic club. Yeah, I'm dork number 1. And we've actually had this talk exactly. Why do we work so hard just breaking our fingers to the point of learning a move so that no one knows you've done anything. Why do we do that? And I think on that aspect, it's because we want to give you the best show, and we want it to seem like real magic. For example, doing like a gambling routine, learning a bottom deal, dealing from the bottom of the deck. You work for hours and hours and hours to make that look like you're dealing from the top. And when you do that for an audience member, you want them to think that you're doing it from the top. Now, on the other hand, you can make something that looks extremely impressive, but it's really easy. And that just, I think, boils down to personal preference, which way you prefer to go. But all in all, I'm wondering the same question myself. And I know that you work as hard as you do to make it look easy. A professional is someone that takes the impossible and makes it look easy, and takes the easy and makes it look impossible.
When I take this question, I mix both of them together, because some of the stuff I do is very simple, and then some of the things I do is extremely hard, and so when I mix it, it's an explosion of magic.
It is. It is. It is. I do want to just emphasize what Clay said. In earlier cuts of the film, it actually was less. It was more difficult for audience members to appreciate how hard it was, because what they do is so seamless that it can be difficult to recognize all the effort going on behind the scenes. It's also true, I think, in a layer of this movie, that the World Magic Seminar is interesting because their acts have to both impress magicians in the audience who are aware of how hard things are, and lay people who are not. So you have to be both technically highly skilled and a good sort of storyteller and show person.
How knowing magic helped you overcome obstacles in your life?
It's my turn again. I, believe it or not, was a very shy person. I mean, I like went in after school and I went into my room and hid for like the rest of the night. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was overly shy. And then I went to Ranky Brothers and I saw all of this magic that was happening, and all the kids there, they did a magic class the first Sunday of each month, and I went to it and I saw all these kids interacting, and I kind of was like, I can talk now. This is amazing. And so it really made me who I am today, because I can talk to people. I mean, I can talk to everybody in this, what's this thing called again? Lightbox. Lightbox. And so I think it's just a great thing for any theatrical arts thing to learn to overcome shyness.
Brief poll of the audience. If any of you walked into a classroom on your first day of school and your teacher did a magic trick, how many of you would pay more attention? That is exactly how I thought. In answer to your question is, I found that magic is one of the most fantastic icebreakers because it transcends language barrier. And if you do a magic trick to someone that, number one, likes magic, number two, can connect with you based on that magic trick, you've made a friend that you probably wouldn't have connected with on any other level other than that. And I've found that through magic, I'm able to connect with more people on different levels than anyone else. Some people can connect based on a common interest or a common belief, but with me, just that door, the key to the door for me is magic.
When I was young, I was very shy boy, and I couldn't talk with many people. But I started the magic, then a little bit I can talk. How can I say? In Japanese? Yeah, anyway, I think magic changed my life. My favorite word is, I think the magic is no border. When I perform magic, I can communicate with many people. I want to perform all over the world, and I want to communicate with many people by magic. That's my dream.
You don't do it for the girls?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what he really wants to know is, for you young guys, have any of you gotten a kiss
Has anyone?
Do you want to repeat the question?
The question was, has anyone gotten the opportunity to kiss Krystyn Lambert?
And there would be no comment for me.
No.
Absolutely no.
Boy, did we want that to happen, though. I mean, are you kidding? As filmmakers? And by the way, Krystyn and Siphiwe Nkumbuzo, I should say, send their best to everybody. They couldn't be here, but are overjoyed and honored to be in part of Toronto.
What I saw in Haroki's act was a kind of he was so free to express whatever and to do whatever he wanted to do. He didn't really have anybody to say, oh, you know, all right, this trick would go really good into this next one because I used to do that when I was your age. You know, there was no because he had no guidance, he was completely free, and that's just my point of view. But and he's just it really allowed him to have a lot of grace in his movements and up on stage because it came all from his own head. So that's my perspective.
The nature is very important for me. My magic idea comes from nature. Everything. When I walking Riverside, I found the small stone. Then I always practicing. Many idea comes from nature. It's very important for me.
What is your favorite trick, and how did you learn it?
Clay's favorite trick is to back palm, and he learned it while editing.
I can only do it with my right hand.
My favorite trick would have to be, I have three. One is the dollar bills that change to hundreds. One is the appearing bowling ball out of a drawing pad. And one is the bit you saw me do on stage with the CD to iPod, iPod to CD. That was my favorite.
This is my favorite trick.
My favorite trick is taking my audience and putting them into a magical world of magicness.